Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Two Round Guys Talking Roundball. John Gold, Sam Strong. Huge news. We got back fat to back fat episodes.
Yes.
Today we're doing hoops. Tomorrow we're doing UCLA signing day.
And we're efforting Adrian Clem for three fat guys, or two fat guys and
One really
retired
strong
Super Bowl
guy
champion.
who happens to be bigger than us.
Yeah, and maybe we'll get him in here, and then John and I can stand back fat to back fat.
Yeah, it's way too much. We would just mold into one person.
Yeah,
Imagine that. What are we doing here?
Like the guy that had to be lifted, the couch had grown into him because he was.
You watch too much
hear about
Hoarders,
that
bro.
guy? Okay, yeah.
Hoarders guy right here.
Love that show.
I'm more of an American Pickers guy. But let's talk a little UCLA hoops right now.
Please.
Coming off a pretty big, I would consider that win over Colorado to be their biggest win of the season, not just in terms of how much outscoring them, but Colorado's a pretty decent team. They're off to a 6-2 start in conference play. It's pretty convincing, pretty big win.
Yeah, we missed you last week. Sorry, I was had other obligations.
Predisposed.
But you and I were talking last week about how that they just laid an egg in Oregon, and they didn't. It looked like all hope was lost. Like they couldn't play together, and once they kind of had a little bit of adversity, they were done for. Yeah. And Colorado's not great, and Utah's terrible, but nonetheless, they showed up and beat two teams and held serve at home, which you got to do.
Well, kind of like we were talking about, we needed to sort of be convinced about UCLA basketball. They haven't been very convincing at any point this year. A 17-point win at home over Colorado is a pretty convincing win.
Back-to-back double-digit wins.
Yeah. And obviously we all kind of knew the Utah game was going to go the way it did. But for them to put that on Colorado, I think if anything can carry them into a little momentum into this weekend, it's that. They needed to see that themselves, I think.
And the big thing for me, too, was the senior point guards, had 16 assists between them in the Colorado game. And that's what you need out of seniors. You need guys who are going to lead the team. Yeah. And I don't think Zeke and Jeremy have definitely done that every game up to this point in the year, but they did on Saturday, and we'll see if it carries over into this weekend.
Well, you make a really good point about just how important it is to have seniors at those positions.
Yeah.
And that's the one advantage I thought UCLA had so much coming into this year, to be honest with you. Forget, all the talk about all the size and all that kind of crap. And, forget about the fact that Joshua Smith hasn't lived up to expectations and Reeves Nelson is gone. We have some sad news to update about him a little bit later. But the senior point guards haven't really clicked in the same game very often. They did against Colorado. And they'll need to again against the best backcourt in the Pac-12 maybe in Washington?
Not only the best backcourt in the Pac-12, but the toughest arena to play in the Pac-12.
But let's talk a little bit about that.
Heck Edmondson Pavilion is, I think Lorenzo Romar, he's a great coach, but I think his crowning achievement so far has been turning that into a nightmare to go into as an opposing team.
UCLA, I think, has won once in the last 8 years.
Holland's first year was the only time they've won.
And what Washington does so well there is the idea of building on hype. Okay, when you're at like a 7 out of 10, maybe you're up 3 or 4 points. What Washington's able to do is they're able to take it to the next level, and then the next level, and then the next level. And then all of a sudden they're up 15, and you're like, how did this happen? And the crowd's going nuts, and the players are just looking depressed, and it just snowballs.
Talk about guard play too. They have Tony Roten, who's a freshman, who's getting
C.J. Wilcox, Abdul Gaddy.
Roten getting talked for Conference Player of the Year as a freshman.
Well deserved.
So that's something right there. And then Abdul Gaddy's great. C.J. Wilcox, Utah native, can shoot the lights out, and we'll see.
Are you just going to drop the Utah native whenever? Just whenever it happens?
He's one of our proudest natives, I guess.
Is he?
In college athletics, sure, yeah.
One of your proudest?
Maybe.
Wow.
Well,
Utah, Beehive State.
Not
represent
like
a little better.
Time. I'm just saying like
I thought you meant of all time.
No, just like in recent
Brigham
high
Young
school.
is up there.
He was great. I watched him in high school. He was incredible.
Okay.
So that's all I'm trying to say.
I'll let you go away with it this time. But so let's talk a little bit more about UCLA here.
Okay.
The Travis and David Ware, their scoring as of recent games has really taken an upswing. Travis right now is leading the conference actually in conference games in field goal percentage at 66%. Number 2 on that list is 60%. Did you expect that given how they played earlier in the season?
I didn't, and I still don't think they necessarily need the Wares to be their leading scorers. I think they need the Wares to clean up on the glass and play good defense, which is up for debate whether they do that right now or not anyway. But I definitely didn't see that coming for Travis Ware to be the leading scorer. If you would have told me that at the outset of the season, I would have said no way.
Yeah, and what he's doing so well, and what I think both of them do really well, is they play off each other. When they're off the ball, they're active, they're moving. You know, their post game in terms of their posting up leaves a little to be desired.
They spend every waking moment together. They know where each other's going to be.
Yeah.
At all
I think
times.
you and I are kind of like that.
Please say that's not true.
I know. Throw me under the bus, Sam.
I know when you're
Fudge bus.
I know when you're gonna order mac and cheese, and you know when I'm gonna.
I feel like I know. I just sense it.
When I'm gonna go for the extra cookie, you know that too.
Well, when you're gonna go for the extra cookie, or that every time you're gonna go. I mean, I'm not trying to be a jerk.
I'm just saying.
Let's be serious.
Yeah.
I was the one who got the hot fudge on the Sunday. I guess I was
extra fudge. Yeah.
All right. Anything else we need to talk? Oh, let's talk about what you wanted to talk about. Tyler Lamb and what he's been doing recently. The job he did defensively the other on Carlin Brown was one of his better jobs this year. He seems to be, you know, he's not offensively. He's not really showing that aggressiveness yet that I expect him to. He's
More
still
so
doing the shot fake every other.
More so than he was last year.
Well, yeah, but he was a meek little freshman last year.
Yeah.
I still think he has a little bit more in him that he can give offensively, but defensively, he seems to be really confident.
Yeah, I talked to him about that. I talked with him about that today. It'll be in the Daily Bruin tomorrow if you want to check that out. But I was going to say, another Utah connection. I watched Carlin Brown for 3 years play at Utah. He was a phenomenal scorer, a high flyer. He was a game-changing player. And if I hadn't known that watching Saturday's game, I would have not even remembered his name.
Yeah.
And that's saying something. Because Tyler Lamb
exactly
kept him pretty quiet all night, 6 points, and 2 of them when he was on the bench. So that's an incredible job, and kind of reminds you a little bit of Malcolm Lee. I'm not going to say he's a Malcolm Lee 2.0 defender, but
Malcolm was longer. Malcolm, you know, he had freakishly long arms.
But Lamb gets the job of everyone's best player, and he's doing a decent job.
And last thing, just kind of sad news out of Lithuania. Reeves Nelson has been released by his team. Zagris.
Why is
Zagris?
That? I've heard that.
I don't know all the stats. You know, he's only averaging 2.5 points in 10 minutes a game. I think they just didn't extend his contract.
But is it a performance thing or is it an attitude thing?
I mean, what's sad about this situation is that I genuinely believe kind of like the default thought process kind of trends now towards, you know, disciplinary stuff.
Yeah.
I really don't know yet. This only happened today. You know, it's not something, I don't know, it's sad to me because he had that really good freshman year, and then he had a very good year last year, and you kind of just thought that he would take a leap up in that maturity level, and he didn't at UCLA, and then you sort of thought that he would have the wake-up call. You know, being kicked off from the team, that's a pretty strong slap in the face.
Yeah.
And then to go there and not settle in, and not find his groove, that's disappointing.
It's sad. I don't want to speculate as to why or, you know, what it says about Reeves' character or anything. It's not a good situation for him, and our best to him and his family.
Yep. So all right, guys. Like we said, big news tomorrow. Coming back fat to some signing day stuff, and also check out the blog throughout today and tomorrow with some videos I did with Scott Wolf of InsideUSC.com talking about the signing day, the best/worst day of the year.
Big day tomorrow.
Yeah.
Big day.
It is a big day.
We'll see if UCLA can hang on to all the guys they have verbally.
I think they'll pretty much hang on to most of the guys. They lost a couple guys in recent days. Picked up a huge offensive tackle yesterday in Simon Goins, who I think is going to turn out to be a good one.
Saw those videos.
Yeah,
he was beasting people.
He's legit.
Yeah.
But obviously they already have Ellis McCarthy. We'll get into this tomorrow, but
in
pretty
part
big
2
day.
of the back fat to back fat, that's coming your way tomorrow.
Second helping.
Yeah.
We're just gonna
obviously.
All right, guys. Thanks so much for watching. John Gold, Sam Strong, 2 Round Guys talking Roundball.
Thanks.